This is my thesis defense. About me, my name is Isha Koushik. I'm 14. I'm a freshman at Allen High School in Allen, Texas, and my topic is long-term antibiotic use on gut microbiota. Before I start today's presentation, I just want to come up with a scenario. So imagine a world where the most powerful tool that we have to fight infections, antibiotics, begins to lose its effectiveness, especially over time. The overuse and misuse of antibiotics has been disrupting a lot of the gut microbiota, and it takes the balance completely off. And that is how we're getting into today's topic. Why is this important? Antibiotics, while they are really life-saving, can disrupt the gut microbiota, leading to long-term health issues like dysbiosis and antibiotic resistance. Understanding these effects is vital for improving strategies and addressing global concerns. So, yes, this is today's overview on the bacteria in the gut. There are millions, if not billions, of bacteria in our gut, and I'm not going to try and pronounce all of these because I would butcher them, but all of these have their individual functions. Multiple have similar functions, but they all have their unique jobs. And so when antibiotics do disturb this, it takes the diversity down by a lot because bacteria are not able to revive as fast in this environment. My problem. So the first big problem is the loss of microbial diversity, which I have just discussed. Antibiotics can dramatically reduce microbial diversity, which is a key indicator in a healthy microbiome. Reduced diversity is associated with compromised gut function and increased liability to a lot of infections, which is why the younger children do get more infections. Another big thing is the rise of antibiotic-resisting bacteria. This is a really, really big problem. The selective pressure that is exerted on antibiotics kind of encourages the survival of antibiotic resistance. So you'll hear me referring to this a lot throughout the presentation, which is ARG, antibiotic-resisting genes. As antibiotics go affect the bacteria or the infectious diseases, they start having these cells that kind of repeat over and over again, and they learn to adapt to the challenges that the antibiotic puts them through. And that's what we call ARG. So that is a really big issue. My literature review. So I think that the reduction in microbial diversity is the big part of my literature review. Antibiotics do really reduce the gut microbial diversity, particularly with broad-spectrum antibiotics. This can lead to substantial declines in microbial richness and even evenness, with some beneficial bacteria taking months or even years to recover from the antibiotics that hit them. Another big thing is dysbiosis and recovery. Recovery in the gut microbiota post-antibiotic treatment is pretty slow, and you would probably think that would not be an issue because it would get better fast. But it is an issue, and that is also a really big thing. Another large part is the role of probiotics in this entire thing. When you took antibiotics when you were younger, maybe your parents told you, maybe your parents didn't, but my parents always emphasized the fact that you have to take a probiotic. So whenever I took an antibiotic, I would eat a lot of yogurt, bananas, and things really filled with probiotics. Probiotics do not completely take off the effects of antibiotics, but they do help the recovery process and as hard as they hit. My hypothesis. So my hypothesis centers around the idea that prolonged antibiotic use has significant adverse effects on gut microbiota diversity. Specifically, I hypothesized that the extended use of antibiotics leads to a marked reduction in gut microbial diversity, and this reduction is not only seen in results, but in dibiosis as well. Okay, my methodology. So in my research, the quantitative methodology involved like analyzing numerical data from clinical trials and primary studies to assess the impact of long-term antibiotics use on gut microbiota. I did find it incredibly challenging to find a lot of articles on this. I had to go to a lot of trials registers, but I was able to do that. Using statistical tools and software, I was able to identify patterns with correlations in the data, which provided somewhat of a measurable understanding. And the qualitative data in my methodology involved reviewing observational studies and case reports and expert opinions to explore the broader implications of long-term antibiotic use on the gut microbiota. In phase 1, review research findings and antibiotics impact on gut microbiota. I developed strategies such as reducing antibiotic use and incorporating probiotics and dietary interventions to address the microbial imbalance and resistance. In phase 2, I involved not physical testing, but I did watch a lot of videos to see where that was going to get me. And in phase 3, I refined strategies on a larger scale to monitor their impact on gut microbiota. Results. So I have definitely discussed a lot of the diversity being lowered, and long-term use of the antibiotics significantly decreases microbial diversity in the gut. This reduction in diversity weakens the gut's ability to carry out essential functions, including digestion and immunal responses. Antibiotics also antibiotic use contributes to the development and spread of antibiotic-resistant bacteria within the gut as well. This resistance complicates treatment options and poses as a serious public health risk. My conclusion. In summary, the impact of antibiotics on gut microbiota really disturbs the microbiota. It also has really big consequences on dibiosis and results in prolonged antibiotic use has also been linked to increase in chronic health conditions and inflammatory bowel diseases. And the need for strategic interventions is definitely needed. The findings highlight that the urgent need for balanced antibiotic prescription practices and the implementation of strategies to control everything. Yeah. My reflection. I was definitely thrilled that I could conduct a formal research. Well, this was strictly a literature review to deepen my knowledge on this important topic. I'm really thankful for the gifted Gabbard team and Professor Virgil and Dr. Kate. Thank you for your support and guidance. I loved all the classes, and when I went into this in the beginning of the summer, I was so concerned because I didn't think I was going to be able to do it. Reading my first paper, it took me a solid 2 days, and I had to go back and forth. It was painful, but eventually I got there. But I really wanted to thank the gifted Gabbard team and Dr. Virgil and Dr. Kate for helping me with this. This was something, but I don't think I want to speak about it right now. But yes, thank you.
Great job. Let me just remove the pen. Great job and wonderful presentation, Isha. Let me have Professor Kate ask you questions.
Very good, Isha. It was a pleasure listening to this. Can you just tell us a couple of those positive things that our microbiota, especially in the gut, do for us, and why we should be worried that with the potential of wiping out so many of those bacteria by using and overusing certain antibiotics?
You cut out on my end the first part of the question, so can you please repeat that?
Oh, I'm sorry. The question was, what is it that our normal microbiota do for us so that positive things? So what is it when we take antibiotics? What is it that are those positive things that those microbiota were doing for us that would be lost for a certain amount of time, and then until they can reestablish themselves in our normal flora of the intestine or our guts?
Okay, so the microbiota in our gut does regulate a lot of our digestion and our immunal defense against other infections. So if they do get hurt by the antibiotics, we tend to get sicker more often, and we may not be able to digest our foods as well. So, in other words, like our digestion would not be as well, and we know that all the things that our body does not need is what comes out, right? And that entire system would not be as good at it as it is right now, and maybe might affect us later on.
Yes, exactly. Digestion is one. The other is some of our gut bacteria make some of our vitamins for us too. So they are necessary, very, very necessary. Some people get very freaked out when we tell them that you have more cells that are bacterial on or in you than you have of your own cells. But they keep us healthy. Wonderful. Thank you for doing that. I really enjoyed it.
Thank you so much. Oh,
You're
and
welcome.
thank you, Coach Joe, as well for presenting me with this opportunity.
Thank you.